Hello, this is H.C. Bailey, and welcome to a special bonus episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy VI! Today, I'll be going over the special abilities of our new friend, Gau. Just so you know, all of the information that I'm about to give to you comes from a very excellent rage guide on GameFAQs, which I'll post in the video description. I'm just simply regurgitating the information to you, just give you the Reader's Digest version, essentially. Now, his special command is Rage, which does a whole lot of things. First, it basically allows him to doppelgang any monster that he's learned to rage from. He already starts off with a few of them, like Brawler, Whisper, Were-Rat, monsters we've already met up with, essentially. Now, when he uses a rage of a monster in battle, he'll inherit their innate statuses, like Float or Safe. He'll get their status immunities, like instant death protection, and he'll also get their elemental weaknesses, unfortunately, but that's almost never been an issue for me, unless the monster's undead, but other than that. Now, however, though, he does use his own stats for the damage calculations, so he's got an okay magic stat. Not the best, not the worst, but that's okay. That's the stat that I'm mostly concerned about. As you can see from his list here, he's got a lot of rages he can learn. 255, in fact, but 3 of them are bugged, and they're not available. But even then, I'm not going to learn all of them. There's just way too many. It takes way too long to learn all of those rages. So I'll just be showing you the ones that are most useful to me. Now, when he uses rage in battle, you'll lose control of him, as though he was berserked. And then he'll have a 50-50 chance of using a simple physical attack, like, well, he's got pretty good vigor, among the best vigor stats in the game, really. So, I mean, he can do quite a bit of damage with that, but he can't equip any weapons, so that's a problem. Anyway, so he could use a physical attack, or he'll also have a 50-50 chance of using the monster's special attack. This could be something that, like, the monster's used on you before, like Pterodon has a fireball attack that you probably saw earlier when I confused it. Or the monster might have a spell that they normally can't use on you, but for some reason when Gau rages the monster, he can use it. And it'll oftentimes allows Gau to have access to very powerful spells far earlier than you normally would have access to them. So let's take a walk around and see how Gau can learn some of these new rages. Now, as long as you're on the Veldt, Gau will have access to another command, his Leap command. So let's get into a battle here and show it off. Alright, here's a Rhinotaur. Let's use Leap here. Now, when Gau leaps, Gau will learn all of the rages of the monsters in that battle formation. Even if let's say there was a lot of enemies there, and you killed some of them and then leapt, or if some monsters were still hidden in the battle. But eventually Gau will return at the end of another battle, just as he did before, about a 5 in 8 chance. So let's find another battle here and see if I can get Gau back now. You don't need dried meat again, so. Another nice thing about Gau is that he'll also learn all of the rages of the monsters in the battle formation in which he comes back. So if he does come back in this battle, which, well, if you're watching this, I already know that he's going to, or I've just re-recorded it over and over and over again. But, yeah, he'll also learn the rages from this battle, too, not just the battle he leapt from. However, if it took you a few battles to find Gau again, he wouldn't have learned the rages from the battles in between the first and the last one. So you have to actually have him in the battle to learn the rage. There we go, got him. Now we just wait a while and Gau will come back to us. So you might be asking, H.C. Bailey, how do you encounter a specific monster on the Veldt that you want to learn a rage for Gau? Well, it's not so much the monster, but the battle formation that's important, which is why I encountered the 4 different battle formations for Rhodox earlier. Most ordinary battle formations that you have completed, either by killing everything or running from the battle or whatever, they'll appear on the Veldt. But most bosses don't appear on the Veldt, but there's a few of them, and, well, as a result, they're pretty darn good. Let's see what we got here. Let's see, yeah, we got Pterodon. That's actually one of the better ones. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, we got some other things, but I'll show you the better ones later. Or, well, later in this episode, that is. Now, in any case, here's how the Veldt works. The game's programmed with 512 battle formations broken down into 64 packs of 8. And most of those packs, well, not most, many of those packs are empty because it's a boss formation that they don't want available here, or it's just a battle they dummied out, or maybe it's just an empty battle formation, I don't know, whatever. But in any case, the game keeps a counter that goes from 1 to 64. Let's say you start at pack 1. The game will randomly pick one of the 8 battle formations in that pack for you to encounter next, assuming that you've already fought that encounter outside the Veldt. And if you haven't met up with any of the battle formations in that pack, then the game will skip to the next pack and repeats the process until it finds one that you've got. Now, the Rage Guide in the video description has a complete list of each battle formation in each pack to make it easy for you to find out, or to find what battle you're looking for. Now, I've already posted a list of some good rages for Gau to learn now. I posted it in the video description there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a moment to learn those rages, and then I'll be right back and show some of them off to you. Okay, well, I've gotten all of the rages I want for Gau, so let's take a look. See what we got here. Crap. Now, I have Gau equipped with the running shoes, so he has more chances to get his special attack in from whatever rage he's using. Templar, for example, has Fire 2. Sometime, if he does choose to use Fire 2, it'll randomly choose between single targeting and multi-targeting. Hazer has Bolt 2. Not bad. Let's try something else. Let's see what we got here. We've got Rhodox. It's got a Snare attack. Now, this one is really good. A must-have for Gau. The other two that I've shown off so far, not necessarily must-haves, but essentially, Snare is an instant death attack, and it delays a counterattack by a turn, which means basically, well, they can't use their final attack, so to speak. Catscratch, also very good. Quadruple damage for a physical attack, even better than a critical. Let's see, Pterodon. I like Pterodon a little better than Templar because Fireball will always hit all enemies, so that's pretty good, whereas Fire 2 may not necessarily hit everyone. Let's see what else I got here. Let's see, Marshal, that one's really good. Also a must-have. Let's see if I can get Gau to show off what he can do with a Marshal. Wind Slash, there you are. The most powerful multi-targeting attack for the first half of the game for Gau there, because Wind Slash does not suffer from split damage. So that's really nice if you've got a large group of enemies. It can basically take out anything for quite a while, even if they're not weak to Wind Elemental. So that's really nice. Trilium is also pretty good. Let's see if I can show that one off. Gives you access to a Poison Elemental attack, Bio. Sometimes hits one enemy, sometimes all enemies. So, it's hit or miss. And let's see, one more. Where is it? Primordite, there we are. This one uses Numblade. It essentially inflicts stop status on the monster, which for a lot of bosses for quite a while, they're not immune to stop. So that can be pretty useful. So let's see, I think that's all of them. Let's show off Marshal one more time, see if I can get it to hit all enemies. There we go. So really, the only two rages that I think are absolutely necessary are Marshal and Rhodox. All the other ones I've shown off, they're nice. If you see them, great, get them. If you don't, well, you know, it's not a huge loss. But basically, single targeting, use Rhodox. Multi-targeting, use Marshal. All the other elemental stuff, it's nice, but not absolutely necessary. There's going to be plenty more rages that I'm going to want to get later on, so we'll be coming back to the Veldt to learn those rages later on. So that's all for this special bonus episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy VI. I hope you've enjoyed it and learned a lot more about rages for Gau. This is HC Bailey, signing off. Have a good day.